Hey guys, and welcome back to the Lounge, hoopslounge.com. Myself, Phil Boileau, aka Sporting Phil, with my co-writer here at Hoops Lounge and many other sources, Justin Rowan. What we're talking about today, top 10 picks. We're gonna play GM of the 2015 NBA draft. We're on the clock. Minnesota Timberwolves, number one pick. Justin, you're the new Flip Saunders. I know you're gushing with that comparison. Who are you
Yes.
picking?
Okay, so I'm going to pretend I'm not Flip Saunders, and I'm going to go with the smart pick in Karl-Anthony Towns. I think Minnesota needs a defense. They need someone that can run with their team. They're going to be an up-tempo team. I think that's absolutely Karl-Anthony Towns. I think he's the perfect fit.
I agree with you there. As your co-GM, I think having that size in the front court to build along the Zach LaVines and obviously Andrew Wiggins going forward makes a lot of sense. We've heard some rustling about D'Angelo Russell, but you know what? They already have a point guard, and it would leave them a little bit thin up front. This sets them for the future. The ability to stretch the floor, the ability to run with Wiggins. This could be a fun team going forward. So we both actually agree. Number two pick, we have the Los Angeles Lakers. A lot of holes to fill. Aging Kobe Bryant and a Julius Randle sitting there at the four to play your four. Who do you have for this one?
Jahlil Okafor. You got to go the big man, especially a team like the Lakers that has such a storied history of great centers. I think Okafor can be the next guy in that in their storied history.
I agree with that, and the main reason I agree is the aforementioned Kobe Bryant. I think Okafor right away can bring that offensive game and put some punch to the other guys who would have been in contention, perhaps the Moutiers and Russells, take a little bit longer, and they both need the ball in their hands, which next to Kobe, as we know, is not an easy feat. The number three pick overall, now that we are diving straight in, Philadelphia 76ers. Sam Hinkie said he just wants to get talent there. Is it possible this guy drafts something other than a backcourt player? If you're Sam Hinkie, who's on the clock for you?
Well, luckily for Sam Hinkie, if things go as we predict they go, the best player available is also a perfect fit. They got rid of the overrated Michael Carter Williams, and now they have an opportunity to take D'Angelo Russell. They'll finally get their guy that can run their show. Perfect fit, absolutely perfect fit for the Sixers. I think he's the best player available and the perfect fit.
Absolutely. His ability to shoot and pass with big men, Joel Embiid and Nerlens Noel already there, makes for a great fit. They also have Dario Saric coming back. Let's see if he can play the three, and if not, who knows? Sam Hinkie has never been afraid to make more draft day deals. So we're actually in agreement. This next one may break us.
Oh, it will. It will.
We're the New York Knicks. We're drafting number 4. We need a lot of help. We have Carmelo Anthony and not a whole lot else.
Yep.
Where are you going with this one?
I'm going with Willie Cauley-Stein. I agree with all the Tyson Chandler comparables there. This is a guy that can get up and down the floor. They sorely need defense. There's been a lot of talk of them drafting Greg Monroe. So that's the perfect guy to put next to Greg Monroe that's going to make up for his defensive kind of liability. He can also stretch the floor out a little bit, so that means he isn't going to clog the paint with the Greg Monroe there. I think he's the perfect fit for New York. It might be a bit of a reach, but that fit is just gorgeous in my opinion.
I agree with you on many levels. I think Emmanuel Mudiay just seems like a New York guy, but because they've had the success and big men are at a premium, and we've seen Cauley-Stein can show a little bit more of his offensive repertoire in some of the workouts. I'm going to stick with you with that one, even though Mudiay may turn out to be the better player. I think Stein, again, the reason, like with the Lakers, come in right away, can use those skills right away. Carmelo will have a front court guy to funnel the ball to. We're saying funnel because you'd have to play defense to do that properly.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I think Stein is the number 4 pick, and I do think this is more of a fit than talent pick. So let's just be fair that I think at this point of the draft, we're starting to get particular about how those teams are having their needs. So the number 5 pick then, the Orlando Magic, the team that can't shoot. You have Moody on the board. You have Porzingis. You have Herzonia. You know, where do you go?
I'm going with Porzingis. Even though they did draft Aaron Gordon, they do seem to like him playing out on the perimeter. But I think Porzingis, with his talent, like I think he's just got the upside to be one of the best players in the draft. He's got the ability to stretch out the floor. He's a top tier player, and I think he's a really good fit there. I mean, as good as Moutier is, I'm a big believer in Alfred Payton. I'm a big believer in Victor Oladipo. I just don't think there's a spot there for him.
Absolutely, I agree. And do you think Aaron Gordon can play the 3 full time? Because I'm trying to look at that roster. I'm seeing Vucevic. I'm seeing him. I'm seeing Aaron Gordon. Tobias Harris may get the cut because of this.
Yeah, I think Tobias Harris is going to get the cut. I don't really believe in Aaron Gordon at the 3, but that being said, I don't believe in him being a top tier player. Like I think he might be a really good player coming off their bench. And I mean, if you got a 3-man big rotation of Vucevic, Aaron Gordon, and Porzingis, that's pretty good. And we're seeing in the NBA more and more teams have kind of a 3 or 4 big rotation that they can count on. I think Aaron Gordon can fit into that mold.
Well, especially how Aaron Gordon's continued to improve his ball handling, his outside shot, and he brings defense and intensity. And worst case, he's an easy guy to trade and get some value for.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think Orlando's in a great spot to moving forward. Now, number 6, you're the Kings. Now, I know you're the GM, but the owner is going to take away your place whatever you choose to do. But Moutier just fell on your lap. You have some other guys there, but can you pass on him at this point?
No, you can. And the one thing that the Kings need more than anything is a point guard. So this is a perfect fit. He's the best player available. You finally get the guy to run the show. So you get Vladdy Divac to put Vivek into a closet or something so he can't interfere. You take Moutier.
Yeah, with your plethora of shooting guards. So yeah, that I completely agree. I think him and either Ben McLemore or whoever they choose to start. I mean, he's always been my favorite too on that team. But anyways, I think him with Cousins are going to make a really tough front court. You just add some shooting around there, and you've got perhaps one of the nice young teams coming up. The number 7, the Denver Nuggets. They need a lot of help everywhere. Hearing a couple names here and there. Where do you go if you're the Denver Nuggets?
Yeah, they do need help everywhere, especially when you consider that they're shopping Kenneth Faried and Ty Lawson. Basically, you just get talent wherever you can find it. I think they're going to go Mario Hezonja there. They seem to love drafting international players. That's been a trend with Denver. You put him with Nurkic. I think you got two really solid players there. He's someone that can stretch the floor. He can play in that up-tempo system. The coaches they're looking at seem to like up-tempo. So I'm going to give Hezonja the nod over Justice Winslow.
I agree there. I think Hezonja has a chance to be a star. He has that attitude, killer instinct, and they're going to need some points. And it allows them to not pay some of their wings like Chandler and Gallinari who are coming up for re-ups. Although that's interesting, right? Because in the NBA free agency world, that pick essentially might have put some nice shooting wings on the free agent market to possibly affect other teams.
Absolutely.
So then you have the Pistons. I don't think the Pistons expected a guy like Justice Winslow in this mock draft to fall to them.
Mm-hmm.
Can they pass on him?
Oh, no. You take Justice Winslow at that point. He's a very, very dynamic player. I think that's a really good player to go next to a Reggie Jackson, Brandon Jennings, Contavious Caldwell-Pope. I think he's the perfect 3 to fit with those guys.
Absolutely, and his ability to, because he wasn't a great mid-range shooter, his ability to hit the corner 3 and D guy in Stan Van Gundy's system. That makes sense.
Perfect. Yeah.
And especially, there's been some rumors all this year that they're going to shop hard for Draymond Green. Imagine a front, like having Draymond Green and Justice Winslow on the same team.
Yeah.
Right? You can see that. And then that all funnels to DeAndre Jordan. that
Mm-hmm.
becomes a very tough defensive team. Okay, so we have 2 more picks in the top 10. We have the Hornets. Hornets need a lot of help everywhere again. I think they think they're better than they are. We've gone through a lot of the top ones. Where do you think their biggest need is?
Oh, like you said, they need a lot of help. I think what they need more than anything is shooting. That being said, I'm going to go with Devin Booker. He's someone that's drawn some Klay Thompson comparisons as a guy that's 6'6", a lot of size, a lot of length, really pure shooter. Hornets were the worst 3-point shooting team in the league. So you look at Devin Booker, you could slide him into the Lance Stevenson position because that's been a failed experiment. I think the Hornets are better than you think they are. They were really good defensively. They just had absolutely no ability to score and a lot of injury prone. So I think that's a good fit for them there.
I'll agree with you. I think anytime you have an Al Jefferson, you do need some shooting on the outside. And I think that's generally a good pick. There's a couple other guys I do like, but I can see the argument, and it's the best right away fit. The 10th team, the Miami Heat. There's been a couple names circling around, but if you're Pat Riley and co., who are you going for?
I think Pat Riley's going to go with a product of one of his brothers in hair gel out of Arizona, Stanley Johnson. I think he's been in the Rick Pitino system. I'm thinking Louisville. I get Arizona and Louisville mixed up all the time. But I think Stanley Johnson, he's got the toughness. He's got the right NBA body, even though he is fairly young. It's tough because I really do see Miami shopping this pick. So I think that they're going to go with Stanley Johnson if they do keep the pick. But overall, I think that draft pick is going to be used to get a more veteran talent.
Agreed. I mean, I think they can afford to shoot for the fences a bit because they have some talent, and you do need to retool at a certain point. I think Stanley Johnson reminds them a little bit of a Caron Butler when they draft them 10th overall.
Interesting.
Way back. And having that kind of really tough physical wing that's young and can come in and be that, I don't want to call them LeBron stoppers, but, there's a bit of a premium while LeBron James is in the league to have physical wings who can, try to body up to him because they know if they're going to have a shot next year, they're going to have to go through Cleveland.
Yeah, and you got to do the same. You got to do the same thing with Kevin Durant. You got to do the same thing with all these elite wing players. You got to body up a Klay Thompson. You got to body up a James Harden. So that kind of guy that can defend the 2 and 3. I like where you're going with that. I do think that is the right play for the Heat if they keep the pick.
Okay, and just the last kind of throw it up out of everyone who's left, who's someone who excites you in this draft?
Who's someone that excites me? I really do like Kelly Oubre. I think that he'd be great. I know you think this way too. I'd like to see him on the Thunder. Someone deep in the draft is Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. I see a lot of Michael Kidd-Gilchrist there. If he can get his jump shot together, this is someone that might end up being one of the best players in the draft. He's probably not going to go until the 20s, but Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, I think you got to keep an eye out for him because he can be a dynamic player.
Mm-hmm. Personally, I like Cameron Payne out of Murray State. We haven't spoken much on smaller point guards who are traditional point guards. I really like your Oubre pick, and just as a final one, I kind of like Kevon Looney out of UCLA. His ability to really long arms, can shoot. I just think some guys like that, 4s that can shoot and who are relatively intelligent, are always going to have a place in this league. But I'm looking up and down this list. This looks to be potentially one of the nicer top to bottom drafts in a while. Would you agree?
It's a solid draft. I think there's a lot of really good role players here. I don't know about the high-end talent, if it's going to pan out that way, but it really does seem like a draft almost similar to 2011, the Kyrie Irving, Derek Williams draft, where the guys might not burst onto the scene initially, but eventually those guys are going to start developing into really nice role players, like we've seen with Tristan Thompson, Jonas Valanciunas, Kenneth Faried, Klay Thompson, Kawhi Leonard. Like there was a lot of really hidden gems in that draft, but it didn't materialize right away. So I think that's what we might see with this draft.
Perfect. And if you had one parting thought to Mr. Flip Saunders before he makes his pick, what would your plea be?
Get someone that works with Wiggins. I really think that player is going to be Karl-Anthony Towns. But to be perfectly honest, if they do get the right package for Rubio, if they get a package, put Rubio together with the big man there, the Pekovic. If you put a package together with Pekovic, maybe future picks, and you get another dynamic player, I could see D'Angelo Russell really working out there with Wiggins, because I'm not a big Rubio believer, and if you get someone to run with Wiggins, that might be a lot of fun.
Okay, so you're basically saying Flip Saunders, Towns first. If not, we're going Russell, and either way, we're happy.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, perfect. Well, thanks, guys, for joining us for another Hoops Lounge NBA Draft preview. For myself and Justin, please continue to catch all of our work, and you can catch us in the description below at our Twitter handles and such. And as always, keep in the lounge.